Welcome to the Fabulous Lifestyle Radio Show. Tune in for a vibrant mix of fashion, finance, and life's essential foundations. Join us for expert interviews, insightful discussions, and empowering insights to elevate your lifestyle. From fashion trends to financial tips and personal growth strategies, we've got you covered. So, grab your headphones and get ready to be inspired. Tune in now to the Fabulous Lifestyle Radio Show and embark on this exciting journey with us.
Welcome to the Fabulous Lifestyle Radio Show. I am your host, M. Teresa Lawrence, here on KCAA Broadcasting Network, 1050 AM and 106.5 FM, where we cover over 5 million households in the greater Los Angeles. And we are also affiliated with CNBC, NBC, and NBC Sports. You can listen to us every Sunday at 3 p.m. Pacific Time on any of your favorite podcast and streaming channels. We are also in Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, and Android app. Just subscribe to Building Solid Foundations channel. I am your host, M. Teresa Lawrence. I am an author, an international speaker, and a leadership coach. I am also the president and executive director of the Trueness Project, which is an international foundation dedicated to helping children and adults throughout the world tell their stories. I travel around the world giving out my books, and we help other people share their stories because it is my belief that when we share stories, we empower each other and we form community. And that is my purpose in life, to build a community of change makers throughout the world. And I hope you join me. Today we have as our guest Steve Matley, who is so incredible. I really have no words for Steve other than he is so magical. He does so many things that it will just blow your mind. For one thing, he is also a host.
That's right.
On this network, and I have learned so much from him. But Steve Matley has over 30 years experience in real estate investing, land development, and construction management. Steve Matley has over 30 years experience in real estate investing, land development, and construction management involving commercial, institutional, residential, and public works projects. Steve participates as a facilitator and speaker, presenting for seminars, conferences, and symposiums. I have heard him speak. He is phenomenal. Steve is ahead of the construction management program at New School of Architecture and Design in San Diego, overseeing traditional undergraduate and online graduate degree programs. Thank you, Steve, for joining us.
It's great to be here, Teresa. Thank you for having me.
So, Steve, I really want to learn about your background. How did you get interested? First, I'm going to talk about real estate because that's your forte,
that's
and
right.
I've learned a lot from you because I've gone to your seminars. So, how did you get interested in real estate? Did you start in real estate? Or?
No, I came out of, I went to business school, and the reason I went to business school is I didn't know what I wanted to do when I grew up, and that's what you take is business when you don't know what you want to do, because then whatever you decide to do, you just make a business out of it, right? That's kind of how I got roundabout there. And so I ended up working in the business of construction because I was always interested in construction. So I got a general contractor's license, and I was doing custom home work in the Coachella Valley area, Palm Springs, Palm Desert, La Quinta, those areas. And I was, by accident, ended up in a job interview, and I don't remember how it all happened, but I ended up in this job interview that I didn't need or really want for this, and I never heard of the company. And so they talked about what they did. And what they did was everything I always wanted to do in the construction business. I didn't know how to get into it. It was more the commercial and the public works side, which is hard to do from the residential side. And the more they talked, the more interested I was in doing it. So I ended up turning that around to talking them into taking a chance on me. And I had friends out there that also were contractors. So I passed all my, I finished up what I had, and I passed new contracts over to them. And then I took this position on for a construction management company. And it's an agency construction management company, meaning they don't design, build, or engineer a thing. They're just an outsourced manager for the owner. And I found it fascinating. I ended up doing initially residential reconstruction, and then I was doing high-rise commercial stuff in LA, and I built several houses of worship, and San Diego State did a big dormitory out there. So a lot of different things, and it just opened up all these different avenues. And several of the projects I did were kind of what we call turnkey. They were soup to nuts for the owners, meaning help them find the land, design, development, construct, move them in. And that's where I got really interested in the development side. So that's how I ended up working towards the real estate and development.
So I'm just fascinated that you didn't know how to do any of this, and you dreamt about doing all of this, and this just fell in your lap.
Right. So I don't have any formal education in construction management or real estate per se, but I do have an MBA, which means I learned finance and accounting and leadership and those
totally
things.
Get that. It's just
It's just applied it to that business. And so the construction I learned by asking anybody and everybody that would stand still long enough, every stupid question I could think of. And they were nice enough to answer me. Most people I found actually enjoy talking about what they do. They're proud of it, and nobody ever discusses it with them. And so when you talk to, like, say, a building inspector who nobody wants to talk to, they're like the traffic cop on the job, right? And you talk to them like a human being and say, hey, so tell me, what are you looking at? What's important to you? Why are you doing this? What are we trying to find here? And not to pin them down, just genuinely curious. And they would explain what they're doing, why they're doing it, what's important. And I'd learn a lot. I talked to the trade contractors, I talked to suppliers, and that's how I learned the construction side. Now, the real estate side, I started getting a glimpse as a construction manager as I was doing, like I say, more turnkey and design build type projects. But I have a business partner who lives in Florida. He and I had been friends for at least 10 years before we ever went into business together. And he had a strong background in real estate acquisition and entitlements. And so we, again, it was another one of those happenstance. I'd known him forever. We had a little lunch meeting, talked about what are we up to. And it just so happened that I was trying to get some projects going that I could build up my retirement income base that didn't compete with my company. I didn't want to do anything that competed with my company, and my company didn't do land and entitlements, but I'd learned a little bit about it there, not at that level. He had tied up several pieces of property and was looking for capital. I already had investors that were waiting for me to go find something. So over lunch, we're like, you've got the land, I've got the money, this might work, duh, right? So we ended up forming our first project. And over the next, 7, 8 years, we did over 40 projects together.
Wow. So one of my pillars is wealth consciousness. And I have been to your seminars. And real estate is a great way for people to build wealth.
As Will Rogers said 100 years ago, buy real estate, they ain't making any more of it, right?
Yes.
The land we have is the land we have.
So can you share with the audience, let's say that they have extra income and they want to get into real estate. What would you advise them to do?
Okay, so one, you want to step cautiously because there's a lot of opportunities, and if you don't know what you're doing, you have to be very careful where you put your money. So I always recommend people go and hang out with people that know what they're doing. If you want to catch a cold, you hang out with people that have a cold. If you want to catch some real estate savvy, hang out with people that got some real estate savvy, right? It'll rub off on you. And so there's real estate investor associations and those things out there. I actually teach classes in helping people figure out how to do syndications, and I do it for a real estate group. It's not my program. I do it for them for free. And because I like educating people on what we do. And I know you sat in a couple of my events that I've done, right? I'm not selling anything or pitching anything. I'm just teaching people because I think once you've educated people, they'll make their decisions on where they want to go. And I also highly recommend to people when they're new is find people that you know, like, and trust that are in this industry doing well with a good track record, and maybe put some money with them because you don't need to know everything if you put your money with someone who knows a lot of stuff. And then you will learn in that process. And you can, ask them questions. You'll at least start seeing from the periphery how these things work, what the process looks like, and over time you'll build up some knowledge on it to where you have confidence, because confidence comes with knowledge.
Thank you. So I have to give a full disclosure. I have invested with Steve because I know, trust, and what was the other?
You have to know, like, and trust people.
Know,
That's right.
like, and trust. He is a phenomenal educator, and I have learned so much with him going to his seminars and listening to his radio show. That's where I'm going next. The radio show and your journey to really master that. We're going to dovetail back to the real estate.
I don't know I'd call myself a master, but I hold my own.
You do hold your own. Let's just put it that way. But I just want to build up to this. I had the pleasure of going to a seminar with Steve, and then I had the pleasure of going out to lunch with him and everybody else.
You attended my mastermind, right?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, but at lunch, you shared your story of how you wanted to develop your skills, and I'm noticing a pattern that when you want to develop a skill, you do hang around with people that are very knowledgeable in what they do. You pursue that, you learn the skill, you get in the mix, you get messy, and then you teach the craft, which means you've actually mastered it, because teaching something enables you to get to a higher level of knowledge.
Absolutely.
And I see you doing that in everything that you do.
That's the method, yes.
Yes. So we're going to take a break now, and when we get back, I'm going to ask Steve about his public speaking and his radio show and the things he did to get there. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the Fabulous Lifestyle Radio Show, where we talk about food, fashion, finance, and foundations of life. We are live on KCAA Radio Broadcasting Network. KCAA is affiliated with CNBC, NBC News, and NBC Sports. We are sponsored by Sheltered Studios, Fire Connect, and Building Solid Foundation.